Okay, we are back, and as you can see, we last left off at Task Tool Explain, Hub Spoke Architecture, how AI agents actually work. I built a complete AI agent loop. So this was about a few days ago. This was dropped a few days ago, but honestly, the last time I was actually on the curriculum was probably about like Sunday. Today is actually Friday. Just got back home from something. And this is why it's so important for you to be building in public. So as you can see here, the last time I did anything, this is actually the Claude project, right? It was 5 days ago. So I'm clicking on this one right now. And I don't remember anything that I worked on. So what I'm going to do here is ask the following questions. Because I'm hopping back on it. Right now it's 5:29. I'm picking back up after 5 days. The last time I was studying for the CCAF was on Sunday. Right now, today's Friday. And then I actually wrote down on my little trusty, I know, I don't waste anything here. So let me ask this. Where do I pick my studies back up? Because we're on a schedule and I'm trying to get done with this over the weekend. And then I have a few different things here. I need to ask, like, okay, where do I pick my studies back up? Because it's been 5 days and I have almost no memory of what I've learned so far. That's going to happen too. That's where a lot of people give up, right? What's the game plan? This is another question that I have for you. Because up until now, I've only been going through the lessons that the Claude Tutor project, which is you, has given me, but I also don't know how many more of these back and forths are we going to go ahead and do between Claude and Google Colab. My intention is to go ahead and actually complete all 4 learning modules so I can qualify to take the actual exam. So at some point, I imagine I still need to go through the coursework on the actual Claude learning network, which includes introduction to agent skills, the API module, the Claude code in action, and then also MCP. And then I have, let me see here. I also wrote down a few things. I have give me a second. Another question that I have is I'm constantly sharing screenshots between what I'm seeing on Google Colab and I'm pushing it back into Claude. At some point, I think there's a maximum number of screenshots that I can add into Google from a maximum number of screenshots that I can add into Claude. What is it? When do I start taking the practice exams? Exams. When do I start taking the real curriculum on the Claude website? Because I need all 4 of them completed in order to qualify for the exam. Can you give me a total of how many more lessons do we have to go back and forth like this before we go to do the real curriculum? Or are we going to break it up into 4 parts and then I go to the real curriculum and then I come back here? What's the game plan? As you can see, given a day, I can move pretty quickly. So what should the trajectory be if I can dedicate my entire weekend to this? How do these lessons also relate to the exam? I'm also wondering why I can't register for the exam yet, even though I got the approval email. Is it because I need to pass all 4 of the learning modules? So here's my overall feedback. I'm learning a lot, but I don't know how this relates to the actual exam. And the other question that I basically have is like, at the end of the day, I need to pass the actual exam to get the certificate, which is on my priority right now. Something else to go ahead and also keep in mind are 2 things. Number 1, this entire experience has basically highlighted to me how inefficient this process is. And is there an app that you think we can build out of this using 11 Labs as a voice agent? That's something that's been on the back of my head because I honestly don't feel like this process should be this complicated. I know my current focus right now should just be on passing the exam for now, but this is something that we're leaving on the back end, so please be cognizant of it. I'm also recording everything that I'm saying right here that I'm going to be adding to my YouTube channel as part of my Build in Public initiative. And I also want you to go ahead and know that. So I'm taking all of this information right now. This is actually why I have a Google Doc. So when people are prompting and they're going back and forth, I think it's just very inefficient, you know. And then it's currently Friday afternoon right now in New York, and I have the rest of the afternoon, including tonight, including all of Saturday, and including all of Sunday. And if the previous sessions were any indication, I can get through these concepts pretty quickly, considering how well you have guided me so far. I just want to see what the steps ahead are looking like and how that relates to the goal of passing the certification, the CCAF certification, instead of like right now, just to mind my own mental health. It just seems like this, I'm learning a lot. I just don't know how it relates to the exam, and it just seems like we're just going and going and going. I would like some time trajectory, because as of right now, I think you have some data as to how fast I can move, how my brain is absorbing the information, recognizing some of the patterns in the responses that I've chosen for some of the practice questions that you've also created. But like, I am on a time schedule here, operating a business, and I cannot just dedicate unlimited amount of time to this. That's why voice prompting is also so hot. You know, you have all this information here, and I'm going to wait for it to prompt out. Do a little quick check here. Just gotta. On it. Is there anything else that I need to go ahead and actually add on here? Last but definitely not least, what is it that we're covering today? I also have some of the data for my own personal YouTube channel, posting all of this information, recording all of this. Let me know if you want the data for that too. I can add in some screenshots. Oh no, we're not quitting. Okay, so I'm gonna grab all of this. Actually, one more thing. I'm also recording all of this right now that I plan to also add into my YouTube channel because I think we should cover a lesson on like, hey, you know, like work gets distracting as with myself, like now that I'm coming back over to it, long story short, what should the YouTube video be, title be, that's highly searchable as part of our series so far in, yeah, for what it is that I just recorded over the last 10 minutes and 27 seconds that I've just taken to prompt this out. Just so you know, I am creating all of these notes for you in this prompt on a Google Doc, and I have been recording myself prompt all of this. No. Okay. Now I'm going to pop it back in here. I have all this information now, right? And I'm going to hit it. And let's just, welcome back. 5 days off is fine. Let's get you reoriented. 100%. Okay, quick memory test before we do anything. What are the 2 reasons? Got it. Okay. Master questions. Your master questions answered by 101. Yeah. I love it. This is actually why, like, it's so important to build in public because if I was to go ahead and get on this bad boy, and I was to actually go ahead and actually, if I didn't have this, I honestly would have already been pretty lost. And I've already had, if you just check on my YouTube, I've already had tons of comments asking me for my Google, like people willing to buy my Google Doc notes, these raw prompts and shit, which is great because actually we did make some money off of that. But like you're gonna have shit that's gonna come up. You're gonna have like I've been on calls and meetings nonstop. Next week is New York Tech Week, which I have some things that I actually have to show up for. And I just already know if I don't go out there and max out the weekend, it's GG. Like you don't want to let too much time go by. So we need a game plan, Like I took 5 days off from studying for my AI certification. Here's what happened when I came back. I'm just gonna go ahead and actually use this title. I had a whole system. Now I don't. Give me a second. So I've added this. I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to add this Google Doc right here. And then give me a second here. So I actually have everything here. As mentioned before, you want it. It's actually right here. You just got to go to the description, just hit the WAP community right here. It's yours, right? So like I have it right here. And then this is actually what I've covered so far. So I'm going to go back over to this. Okay, we have this quick memory test before anything else. No looking back at notes. What are the 2 reasons, stop reasons, and what does each one mean? What is the one thing subagents cannot do automatically? When the exam gives you a choice between fixing a system prompt and fixing architectural setting, which one is correct? This tells me, okay, so what are the 2 stop reasons and what does each one means? For the quick memory test, I don't have an answer for the 2 stop reasons, and so I don't know what each one means. The one thing subagents can't do automatically is subagents cannot communicate with each other. So subagent 1 cannot communicate with subagent 2. When the exam gives you a choice between fixing a system prompt and fixing architectural setting, which one is almost always correct? fixing the architectural setting. And I remember this because as a non-technical person, my tendency is always to lean towards fixing the system prompt, which almost always is not the correct answer. Ah, yeah, intern tool use, right? Okay. So let's take a look at what else do we have to go ahead and actually do. I think that's really good, having that memory test. Your questions, your master questions answered one by one. How does all this relate to the exam? Well, every single build you completed maps directly onto the exam scenario. So API calls, statelessness, customer support scenario, questions about memory failures, system prompts, questions about your how to fix it, conversation history, stop reasons, hub and spoke, task tool and allowed tools, temperature, consistency versus creativity. The exam does not ask you to write code. It actually describes a broken system and asks you to identify the fix. Everything you built is the broken system made real, so you recognize it instantly. How many more back and forth collab sessions before the real curriculum? Honestly, you're done with the collab heavy sessions for domain. Domain 1 is 90% complete going forward. Domain 2, Claude Code, 1 collab session plus conceptual understanding. Prompt engineering, 1 collab session. Focus on JSON output. MCP, conceptual only, no collab needed. Domain 5, context management. Conceptual only, no collab needed. Good. Collab builds are finished after 2 more sessions. Everything after that is architectural understanding and exam drilling. When do you start the official curriculum? Right now, in parallel with our sessions in this exam order, complete the API module on Skillshare. You have already covered everything in it and scored an 87% on its quiz. Next session after that, Claude Code module on Skillshare. We cover it here first, then you skim the official exam to cover. Following the weekend, MCP module and agent skills. Okay, on Skillshare. The official modules are confirmation that you know the material, not the place where you learn it. You learn it here first. When do you take the practice exam? My rule was 70% weighted content coverage before mock exam. Here's where you stand right now. 90% of domain 1. Okay, 0% of domain 2, domain 3, domain 4, domain 5. You have covered roughly 32% of the weighted content. You are not ready for a full mock exam yet. You will be after this weekend if you push hard. Why can't you register? Yes, you need all 4 Skillshare learning modules before the exam unlocks. That is a gate Anthropic requires before you can schedule a proctored exam. Your priority this weekend is completing the API module, which you are already qualified to pass, and starting the Claude Code module. Claude has no hard limit on the screenshots per conversation, but very long conversations with many images can slow responses. The practical limit is around 20 to 30 images before you should consider starting a fresh session. For a collab, Google resets sessions after 90 minutes of inactivity. This is not a limit you can change on the free tier. 11 noted log, we're not touching it until you pass the exam, but it is genuinely a good idea. A voice-driven CCAF study coach that quizzes you while you drive or work out. We build that after the certificate is in hand. Your weekend game plan, Friday afternoon, 3 to 4 hours, complete the memory test above, re-anchor domain 1 weak spot specifically, okay. And then Saturday, 6 to 8 hours, domain 4, and then Sunday, prompt engineering. Okay, by Sunday night, you should be all 4 modules complete. How this relates to passing the exam, passing specifically, the exam is 4 scenarios picked randomly from 6. Each scenario has multiple choice questions. You need 720 to pass. You're targeting 900. The gap between is almost entirely the prompt versus the architectural fix pattern, which is exactly the weakness you practice on. Every domain has a version of this trap. Drilling it across all 5 domains is what gets you from passing to 900. My honest assessment with your pace, you covered domain 1 in 1 day. This is genuinely fast. All right, so I'm going to have that. What you need to do the second, go to Enterprise Skills Chart, open up the Claude API portal, skim each section. You have already built everything in it. Take the final module quiz. Screenshot your score, come back here. This officially unlocks your progress. Domain 1 loop. How long do you need to get that thing done? Okay. I'm also going to ask it one more question. These video lessons from Anthropic, no offense, are horrible. It's very difficult for me to follow. What are some tips aside from watching it at maybe 2 times speed that we could do? Because I still want to learn the concepts, but like I'm not going to be able to learn the concepts if I'm going to be put to bed. Who already know these concepts, you are not the target audience, and that is not your fault. How to get through the official modules without watching them. Okay, here, skip the videos entirely. Do not watch them. Your time is too valuable. Thank you. Freaking is. Go straight to the exercise and quizzes. Every skills jar module has hands-on and final quiz. Those are the only parts that matter for the module completion. Use me as your decoder. When you hit a concept quiz or exercise that you do not recognize, paste it here. I'll explain it in 60 seconds. In your language, then you answer the question. Screenshot your completion badge. This is all Anthropic needs to see. Completed, badge earned, exam locked. The honest truth about the official modules exists for one reason from Anthropic's to gate access the exam. They want to know that you've been exposed to the material. They do not care how you learned it. They care about that you can pass the quiz at the end. You have already learned domain 1 better than the video teaches it. You built it live. You've answered the practice question. You've identified your own weakness pattern. The video cannot compete with that. Your new module strategy, okay. 4 steps per module. Open the module. Paste the topic list here. Tell me which ones are the exam critical ones that you can skim. Go straight to the exercises, attempt them, screenshot anything confusing, take the final quiz, bring any of the wrong questions here immediately. This gets you through each module in 45 minutes or less instead of 3 hours of video. Right now, do this. Open the Claude API skills chart, paste, and I will tell you exactly which ones you need to read, which ones is the fastest legitimate path to module completion. Let's go ahead and move. Can I go ahead and actually close up the YouTube video for today? And what's the title for the next YouTube video? Because right now we're going to be moving on to Claude API. Claude API and going through each individual module separately, right? 5 days off. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take all this info here and I'm going to take all this. I'm going to come back, and this has actually been super helpful for me. To just like be able to refer back over to it. All right, so now I'm gonna have this. Boom. So I have that, and then let's get it. See you guys in the next video. I actually, to kind of close it up, I think sometimes like we have to be smarter about how it is that we use AI and Claude and all that, because Originally, I've been procrastinating because, like, actually, I got to the point where I was doing it where I couldn't think about this anymore. And then I was like, oh, do I really want to, like, compress my brain like that? Because this is like doing like a very extreme workout for your brain, right? And I took a few days off because, like, whenever I had time to get back into it, I wasn't necessarily in the mood. You should have like a little prompt right here. This is actually why voice prompting is, I think, so important. Is like I had all these different questions, get it all out, and work with AI, and let's go ahead and crush it.